Hey fellow gamers, Wutai here. The music of the Final Fantasy series is beyond legendary. The majority of the early catalog was composed primarily by Nobuo Uematsu, who is an absolute legend. For many years, Nobuo was renowned for his remarkable scores for these awesome games, and he's no doubt one of, if not the greatest, composer to ever do it. In my opinion, the mark of a true artist is when they take the inspiration of those composers and musicians that came before them and they blend things together to make something uniquely their own. And Nobuo is no doubt a great example of this. He's no doubt been inspired by some of the greatest musicians of both Western and Eastern history. And in the landmark game Final Fantasy VII, Nobuo actually paid homage to a few different 1970s classical rock bands. The developers themselves actually also did a little bit of a tribute to another 1970s band, which we'll also talk about here. This is Wutai Clan Gaming, and here are a few 1970s music references in Final Fantasy VII. One of the first pieces of music that we get to hear shortly after the opening cutscene of the original Final Fantasy VII, upon entering the Mako reactor, is this piece. Take a listen. Now, if this doesn't sound familiar to you, don't worry. This is a real deep cut, actually. This motif that's used here is actually from Neil Young's There's a World, a song off of his 1972 album Harvest, which is one of my absolute favorite songs and one of my absolute favorite albums by Neil Young. When I first heard this, I was like really taken aback. I'm like, I knew exactly what it was, and I was like, wow. I recently discovered this one. Check this out, you don't believe me. Yeah, when I first realized this, I was so happy to know that Uematsu was a fan of Neil Young, to know this track, like to be a big enough fan to have known like a deep cut off of one of his albums. Talk about being studious. Nobuo just gets cooler all the time, huh guys? The next piece that we're going to be looking at today is the catchy elevator music-esque Costa del Sol theme. Now, this one is a bit open for interpretation perhaps. There are several songs that sounds like this, but for the sake of the 70s discussion, I would say that this has to be the one because, I mean, I think it came before any other song that sampled before it, so by other artists. So first, let's listen to the Costa del Sol song for a second. Now let us compare that to Chicago's Saturday in the Park intro. Nobuo has done it again, guys. Another 1970s classic rock song sampled in Final Fantasy VII. You've gotta love it, man. Now, I know both of those were pretty cool. Maybe they were ones you've already known, or maybe they blew your mind a little bit. I've actually yet to find other meaningful ties in the music itself in this game, but I'm sure there's tons of them out there. If you have any more, you can share them down below in the comments, because I would love to know about them. But before you go, there's another reference in the original Final Fantasy VII to yet another 70s band. The enemy skill Aqualung is a fun reference to the song and album of the same name by Jethro Tull, who, fun fact, are one of my all-time favorite bands. It's so cool to think that the composer and the developers of one of my favorite games share the same taste for classic rock bands of the 70s. I love to learn more about the music in the series and its inspirations, so like I said, if you know more, please drop a comment below. Thank you for watching. We have some big projects in the works, and we're really excited to share them with you. So if you like this video, go ahead and omni-slash the subscribe button, hit the little dingy bell. This has been Wutai Clan Gaming, and I'm going to see you again very, very soon.